baseball fans, welcome to the eighth inning stretch. I'm AJ. He's Carson. Do not adjust your clocks. We are on a bit later than usual. We were having one, I overslept, and two, we had some technical difficulties, or Carson did. But we're here. Ready to rock and roll. Lots to talk about. Carson and I were actually just perusing some trade rumors. But before we get started, we have some sad news. We've lost another one. The legendary, and I mean the legendary describes this person. The legendary Bob Newhart passed away just a couple days ago. Some of you will remember him from his two hit sitcoms, The Bob Newhart Show and Newhart. But Carson, I think most of our younger fans will know him better from his appearances on The Big Bang Theory.
Yep, yeah, in The Big Bang Theory as Professor Proton in some fantastic episodes, as well as little bit further back, but of course a legendary role as Papa Elf in the absolute Christmas classic that is Elf.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep, but
I forgot about that.
Couldn't have said it better myself. An absolute legend of the television industry. Obviously I was not around. I was not even a thought when the Bob Newhart show was on the air. But everything that I've kind of watched and seen over these past few days as tributes have been pouring in, was that he just had such a creative and hilarious mind, and was able to just make that show must watch TV just because of how much and just because of how much laughter he had. And from what I've seen and from what I've read, that was one of the greatest triumphs of his life, was getting to make people laugh and just let people kind of get distracted from anything else that might be going on. So of course we send our love to all of his fans, as well as the Newhart family, all of his friends, as they go through this time. And man, AJ, I don't know about you, but I'm sick of starting the show out.
I know, man. I'm with you. I don't like how much I'm getting used to doing these. I mean, I guess not to get too deep, before the cocktail hour, but I mean, that's just how it is. And as the current generation gets older, the past generations, we start to lose people, and it sucks, but that's how it is. That's the way it goes. No, but Bob Newhart was a ridiculously funny dude. Like Carson said, I mean, same for me. I wasn't even, I obviously, have only seen his shows in reruns, but I will tell you that both of his, I mean, most people don't get to have one hit sitcom. This dude had two hit sitcoms. It was ridiculous. But no, he was an insanely funny dude, great comedian, great. I mean, the Bob Newhart show is probably one of the best sitcoms of all time. With him and the great Marsha Wallace too. They had great chemistry on there, and I would highly recommend any of you to go. I'm sure it's streaming or available somewhere, for you guys to watch, but I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, that's a bit of sad news to start out today. So, but anyways, on to much brighter, onto much later topics. We have poll results for you guys. pretty straightforward poll this week. We asked you guys, should the All-Star game decide home field advantage in the World Series? And a bit of an upset, I think. 51% of you said maybe, 47% said yes, and only 4% said no. Well, whoever you 4% are, you guys just keep that to yourselves. Come on, really? No? That must be that Carson. That 4% must be some of those so-called baseball traditionalists.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if I necessarily see maybe as an upset, because the more I've kind of thought about it over the past few days, like I kind of get where the maybes are coming from, because you want the All-Star game to have consequences, but at the same time, having an All-Star game decide something that could be as pivotal as deciding which team gets home field advantage in the World
True.
Series just kind of
Yeah.
it feels like something like the All-Star game shouldn't have that big of consequences.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of compromise, something to make the All-Star game. I mean, this year's All-Star game was a good one. It was competitive. It was back and forth. We saw some, we saw the level of play you would expect out of an All-Star game. I'm not a fan of we've got to try to get everyone into the game thing. I just like being an All-Star is being selected, being voted as an All-Star. It should be, I mean, it is an honor, but it should be I don't know. It feels like it's I don't know. I'm just not a fan of we've got to get every player into the game. And I get it. The managers want, they want players that have been selected as All-Stars. They want them to have a chance to play, but I don't know. I think at some point we're going to run into a 2002 situation, when we're out of pitchers. And then the game ends at a tie, and that's how we got the whole home field advantage thing to begin with. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you're right. I guess I see where the maybes are coming from. For me, I feel like baseball has to do something. And I don't know what that something is.
Yeah, absolutely. There's got to be some sort of consequences for the All-Star game, and like you said, maybe it is changing, trying to change the format in terms of how players get in, because like you said, there have definitely been years where it's like, even this year, like for White Sox, it's like, there are guys that are on, no disrespect White Sox fans, but there are guys that are on better teams that deserved those spots. But yeah, I don't know. There'll no doubt, I'm sure, continue to be conversations about the All-Star game within baseball fans, and we'll see what the front office potentially decides to do.
Maybe the league that wins the All-Star game gets to host it the next year or something. I don't know.
That could be interesting.
That could work. I mean, I know they typically plan the host cities for the All-Star games a couple of years out, so maybe that might be an issue. But yeah, I don't know. But they've got to do something, because I know I'm not alone in this. I'm not a fan of every player has to play, and every team has to have at least one representative, because let's be honest, there are some teams who just, there are some teams who don't have all-star caliber players, White Sox, and that you're putting a player from a mediocre player from a mediocre team into an all-star game, and I don't know. They gotta do something. But this year's game was good, but we'll talk more about that here in a second. So thanks everybody, as always, for taking part in the poll question. We know you guys enjoy that, and we enjoy seeing your guys' responses to this stuff. But before we talk about the All-Star game, today, actually, Sunday, Carson is it's Hall of Fame induction day in Cooperstown for Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Jim Leland.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously for this Twins fan over here, a very sentimental, reminiscent, but overall very cool day to get the chance to watch a player that I grew up watching and idolizing go into the Hall, along with two other players who were absolutely spectacular, and of course Jim Leland, who is certainly in the conversation, if not leading the conversation as one of the greatest Tigers managers of all time.
Yep. One of the greatest managers of all time, period, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, Todd Helton, and Jim Leland all set to be inducted into Cooperstown today, Sunday. If you guys are interested in watching the induction ceremony and the speeches, and which is always, always a good watch. Induction ceremony begins at 1:30 p.m. Eastern today. So, and it's probably on MLB Network, isn't that usually, or ESPN?
It's usually MLB Network.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just looking at this article real quick. This piece on the Athletic about the induction. And there are a great wow, this is nuts. There are two players in baseball history with 3,000 plus hits and 200 plus fielding runs. Is that like runs saved? It must be. Career fielding runs above average as a tool to measure. Yeah, it's a defensive stat. Anyways, there are two players to do this. One is Adrian Beltre. Carson, would you care to hazard a guess as to who the other one is?
Well, I'm guessing it's going to be one of the other two players who are getting inducted today, and my bias is going to go ahead and say Joe Mauer.
No, actually, the late great Roberto Clemente.
Oh wow, that's fantastic company.
That's some company, yeah. Yes, two players on this list: Adrian Beltre, Roberto Clemente. That's it. Wow. Adrian Beltre, 3,166 career hits. Damn. And Beltre, of course, got 95.1% of the vote, which is the fourth highest vote percentage. So George Brett, who was inducted in 1999, 98.2%. Chipper Jones in 2018, 97.2%. And Mike Schmidt in 1995, 96.5%. Of the 385 writers who voted for this current class, this year's class, only 19 left Beltre off their ballots. What the hell? What exactly is wrong with those 19 people?
Yeah, I don't know how you can look at his stats and not have him be even higher in terms of maybe even being unanimous. That's crazy to me.
I think wow. Joe Mauer only got 76.1% of the vote. Joe Mauer just barely got in. Again, what is wrong with these writers?
Yeah, this is the one that makes me mad.
That is so disrespectful.
And as somebody who has a little bit of insider perspective when it comes to Joe Mauer, as much as it infuriates me that he barely got in, I do understand where some of the writers are coming from, because aside from that fantastic 2009 season, there's a lot of different inconsistency type things with Joe Mauer, and a lot of that also had to play into the injuries that he was plagued with throughout his career. So maybe, they might have taken that into account, as his career was, after that 2009 season, it didn't really seem like he had the same pop in his bat that he did. So again, maybe just the injury history was a factor there, but the fact that he barely got in, I mean, I know he would have gotten in next year, like, and if he didn't, you all would have heard about it from me. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know how he barely made it as a first ballot.
Yeah, I mean, at least he got in on his first ballot. Came out of the balloting with it. So he actually got the second highest first ballot vote percentage of any catcher in history. The highest voting percentage of any catcher in the Hall of Fame was Johnny Bench. No surprise there.
Yeah.
Who got 96.4% of the vote in 1989. Joe Mauer yeah. Joe Mauer 76.1% this year. Pudge Rodriguez in 2017 got 76%. So in other words, Joe Mauer got more votes in his first year on the ballot than Yogi Berra.
That's crazy.
And that's not a commentary on Yogi Berra. That just speaks to how bizarre this Hall of Fame voting thing is. Todd Helton, of course. Let's see. How did this was Helton's fourth year on the ballot? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, this was his fourth year on the ballot. And he steadily climbed every year. Year one pulled at 16.5%. Second year, 29.2%. Third year, let's see, 16.5. Yeah, okay, yeah. So he on his third year he was 70.2%, and then this year he finally got enough to get in. Only got in by 18 votes. Wow. That's kind of wild. And then, of course, Jim Leland, who got in was elected by the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee. Wow. Jim Leland, 22 seasons managing. Damn. Of course, managed the Pirates, the Marlins, of course, won the World Series, the 97 World Series with the Marlins, the Rockies, and then the Tigers. Two excruciating Game 7 losses away from reaching a fourth and fifth World Series with the 91 Pirates. Yeah. And then, of course, others being honored this weekend in Cooperstown. A little bias here. Longtime Red Sox radio voice Joe Castiglione will be presented the Ford Frick Award, which is basically the Hall of Fame for broadcasters. And the late Jerry Fraley, who spent 40 years covering baseball in Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Texas, received the Baseball Writers Association of America Career Excellence Award. So anyways, lots going on in Cooperstown this weekend. Obviously a huge congrats to all four members of this year's Hall of Fame class. Next year, Carson, next year's ballot is going to be next year's ballot is going to be wow. The 2025 unofficial ballot, we have, who do we have for first timers next year? First timers on the ballot next year. Let's see, who do we got? Francisco Liriano, Clay Buchholz, Hanley Ramirez, Curtis Granderson, Troy Tulowitzki. Oh, my boy Dustin Pedroia, first year on the ballot next year. Dustin Pedroia, Hall of Famer?
Oh, I don't know.
I know, it's close, isn't it?
I think that injury
Nah.
history. Talk
Yeah.
about somebody who has injury history. I think that's gonna work against him
Yeah.
big time.
I hate to say it. I don't know, man. I don't know if PD gets in. I mean, obviously, I really hope he does, but yeah, who else do we have first time? Oh, well, here's a couple of no-brainers. Felix Hernandez and Ichiro.
Ichiro, yes.
Oh no, 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 no. Don't
I
even.
I don't know if King Felix gets in the first time around. I don't know.
I can't believe my ears. Um
I can't believe him either if it makes you feel better.
King Felix doesn't get in on his first ballot. Oh man.
I don't know.
Ah. Hot take alert, everybody. Um well, let's agree on that. Ichiro gets in on the first ballot, no brainer.
Oh,
And
100%.
if Ichiro is not a 100% unanimous selection, we riot.
Yeah, Ichiro gets in 100%. I think if there were, I see three people from the first timers list that get in Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and sure, I'll put Felix Hernandez in there.
Sabathia first ballot?
I think so.
Maybe.
And also, AJ, I swear, if Billy Wagner does not get in this year, I will riot.
Well, it's his 10th year on the ballot, so he's
It's a,
getting isn't 10 years is like the max, right?
yep, as Elvis would say, it's now or never.
Yeah, after 10 years you drop off.
He was so close.
He was, yeah.
73.8%.
Yeah. Yeah. None of these other, like, Andrew Jones only 61%. None of these other guys were even close. CC Sabathia. All right, so CC Sabathia, I know this isn't the only stat that matters. CC Sabathia, a career 3.74 ERA. Felix Hernandez, career 3.42 ERA. Wow, how crazy is that?
That's pretty nuts.
Felix's ERA is 3 points lower than. Wow, I honestly, that's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm with you on, yeah, I think we get Ichiro. Who else did you Ichiro and who else?
Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and King Felix.
You think those are the ones that get in next year?
I do. I think if King Felix gets in his first time, I think he barely squeaks in though.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, out of these first time, I mean, some of these guys had awesome careers, but I mean, I would love to see Clay Buchholz, but I don't see that happening. And the rest of these guys are really kind of just, yeah, Hanley Ramirez, no. Curtis Granderson, no. Troy Tulowitzki, maybe.
I don't know about Tulo again. Just the injury history there.
Yeah, he did have a lot of injury problems, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Let's see.
Don't get me
Tulo.
wrong. I love me some Tulo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then the multiple timers. Chase Utley only got 28% of the vote. What?
He did.
What a joke. That's ridiculous. Chase Utley's one of the best friggin' second basemen of all time. Ugh. Francisco Rodriguez, yeah, no. Carlos Beltran, no. Keep him away from the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Rollins only got 14.8% of the vote. Again, ridiculous. A-Rod got more votes than Jimmy Rollins. Really? Okay. That's how we're playing this. All right. A-Rod, no. Again, keep him the hell out of there. Torrey Hunter is his 5th year on the ballot. Bobby Ray, 6 years. Andy Pettit, 7. Andrew Jones, 61%. We might see Andrew Jones get in next year. It's his 8th year on the ballot, but he got 61.6% this time around.
It's certainly possible.
And like you said, I think Billy Wagner gets in too because, I mean, he's right there, 73.8% this year. So, yeah, Manny Ramirez, Manny's. I love me some Manny, but Manny's not getting in. So, this is actually getting pretty cool. So, for those of you who don't, Baseball Reference has again, these are the unofficial ballots. Wow. 2026 ballot. Yes.
Yeah, 2026 is kind of stinky for first timers.
2026 is very stinky. I mean, Rick Porcello. I love Mr. Rick Porcello, but yeah, no.
But no.
Yeah. Hunter Pence, no.
No.
Nick Markakis, no.
No.
Yeah. Cole Hamels, maybe.
Eh. Just keep Ryan Braun away, please.
Yeah, keep Ryan Braun out. Yeah, 2026 is kind of.
It's gross.
It is gross. And then if we go one step further, we're going 2 years into the future to 2027. Wow.
Oh, Buster Posey.
Ugh. 2027 is even worse than 2026.
I don't know about that, but I think Buster Posey could get in.
Pablo Sandoval? No. I'm sorry. I'm not still bitter at all about Pablo Sandoval's disastrous tenure in Boston.
Am I seeing that right? Do they have Trevor Bauer listed in the 2027 ballot?
Yeah, he's not going to be on the ballot. No way.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, unofficial ballot.
Unofficial ballot. There's no way.
I definitely had to remind myself of that just now.
Yeah, there's no way Trevor Bauer's on the ballot for obvious reasons. Who else do we have? Not a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of stinky. Irvin Santana. Love me some Irvin Santana, but no.
Starlin Castro. Oh, man. Buster Posey, slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Buster Posey, I think absolutely. I mean, John Lester's
and John
there,
Lester,
maybe.
Too. John Lester's your first ballot. Gotta be.
Ryan Zimmerman, no. Although he should be. Kyle Seager, although he should be, no. Jake Arrieta, no. Jordan Zimmerman, no.
Yeah, this is bad.
Jonathan Lucroy, no.
So apparently you can go all the way to 2028.
Let's keep this train rolling. I love this.
Yeah,
this is great.
It's actually kind of fun. 2028.
Oh, Yachty in 2028. If Yadier Molina is not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I swear on everything, I will riot.
Steven Strasburg? Yeah, that's not going to happen.
David Price.
Huh. No. Oh, here we go. Talk about your slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famers. Albert Pujols.
Oh, is Albert up in 2028?
Albert's up in 2028.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, Robinson Cano.
Cano, yeah. Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was a first ballot.
He should be, but I don't have a lot of faith in some of these writers.
Let the record show, ladies and gentlemen, that AJ recognizes the greatness of Robinson Cano, even though he terrorized his Red Sox for many years.
Oh yeah, no, Robinson Cano terrorized the Red Sox for years. But he's a great ball player and deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I I can recognize even if players were Yankees and terrorized my Red Sox for years, I recognize the greatness of Derek Jeter. I recognize the greatness of Mariano Rivera. I refuse to recognize A-Rod because screw him. Mr. Slap the ball out of the glove. But no, I can recognize greatness of opposing players if they were great players, and Robinson Cano was one of them.
Very interesting too, looking at this 2028 ballot of seeing who all drops off and everything like that. The remaining people who would still be on the ballot in 2028 from 2024 would be Carlos Beltran, Alex Rodriguez, Chase Utley, Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins, Andy Pettitte, Mark Burley, Francisco Rodriguez, Torrey Hunter, and David Wright, with it being the 10th year for Andy Pettitte.
Yeah, so Andy Pettitte, not a Hall of Famer. Sorry. I don't see it. Actually, I don't think out of that group, the only one for me is Chase Utley.
No Torrey Hunter.
Maybe Torrey Hunter. Maybe.
No Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy's. Jimmy only got 14% of the vote this year. He's got a long way. That's 4 years, so
yeah, he's got
a long way to go. So does Torrey Hunter.
Even in 2028, that'll be Jimmy's 7th year, Torrey's 8th year, so they'll still have a few more years.
Yeah.
To try and get some, and we don't know what it's going to look like in 2028 either. That's
sure.
Obviously that's the hard thing about this is that with people getting added to the ballot, it's hard to predict because obviously Albert Pujols will get a lot of votes. Robinson Cano should get a lot of votes.
Yep.
It's hard to predict who exactly would. According to Baseball Reference, if it comes to it, they have this Hall of the first column is this Hall of Fame monitor. They have Alex Rodriguez graded with the highest chance to get into the Hall if it comes to 2028.
Oh, how likely a player is to be elected? I didn't even see that. A-Rod? Really? Come on.
I don't know exactly how they calculate the stat, but A-Rod has a Hall of Fame monitor of 390.
Yeah. No. A-Rod, McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, Palmeiro, none of the steroid guys, none of them are getting in. Never. Ain't happening. And deservedly so. None of them deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They're a disgrace. Pujols at 334 on that Hall of Fame monitor thing. So, Pujols has got to be first ballot. Got to be. Anyways, now that we've completely fallen down that rabbit hole, Baseball Reference.
Yeah, it's time for Reckless Speculation, brought to you by Printer Dudes.
Yes, Baseball Reference. I have a love-hate relationship with Baseball Reference, because I always end up falling down a rabbit hole. But yeah. Anyways, that's what's going on in Cooperstown, and we got way ahead of ourselves there, looking as far out as 2028. But there are definitely some interesting ballots, some interesting players who are potentially going to be on the ballots here in the next couple of years. And it'll just be interesting to see, because the other thing to keep in mind about the Hall of Fame vote, Carson, is kind of like we were talking about earlier with, as the current generation, gets older, the older generation starts to, we start. But sort of that same thing is sort of happening with baseball writers now and sports writers in general. The so-called, the kind of old guard, they're starting to retire, and other writers are getting those Hall of Fame votes. And it's going to be interesting, particularly with the steroid era players, how the new guard, how they handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to be something to watch for sure.
Me personally, I don't know if I don't know how, as a baseball writer with a Hall of Fame vote, I don't know how you, with a clear conscience, cast a vote for any of those steroid era players. I don't see how you do that.
Yeah.
I don't care how great their numbers are, and I know people always, Barry Bonds. I don't care what kind of numbers he put up, because to me, it's all tainted.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not like, I mean, there were some players, Manny Ramirez. Manny did actually get suspended for PEDs once or twice, but there were players where people have speculated, maybe they were doing something. We know for sure. We know Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, Palmeiro, A-Rod. We know those guys were, So, anyways, that's a. I don't envy the Hall of Fame voters here in the next few years, who they've got to make a choice, whether or not they let these guys in to the hall. But anyways, we had an all-star game recently. I don't know about you, man. I all around a pretty solid game. It was entertaining, a little back and forth. We saw some home runs. My boy Jaron Duran hit the go-ahead game-running home run for the American League, and won himself All-Star MVP. But all around a pretty solid showing, I thought.
Yeah, yeah, all around a solid all-star game. It was a lot of fun, and Jaron Duran popped off, which I'm sure my Red Sox loving co-host was very happy to see. And
Damn right.
the American League, the American League proves once again that we are dominant. Even though I did think that the National League could potentially take this one home. Obviously, in my heart, I'm always going to root for my league, and that's the American League. We've won 11 now out of the last 12, I think. So
yeah, I think they
step your game up, NL. We're getting bored over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they said the American League's won like 10 out of the last 11.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it in the opposite direction. We've seen the National League. I remember stretches where it seemed like the National League won every year. So I don't know. I guess maybe it just kind of goes in cycles. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a solid. It was a fun game to watch. Yeah, Jaron Duran 2-run homer, broke a tie in the 5th inning. So awesome. Folks, if you don't know the name Jaron Duran, learn it. Because this dude is quietly become one of the game's best all-around players. And he's having himself a breakout season. But yeah, I mean, most of the prediction, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run, big surprise there. Interestingly, Ohtani's first All-Star game home run, in the first All-Star game home run by a Dodger. Care to guess who the last Dodger was to hit a home run in the All-Star game?
Oh geez, I feel like this could be going back a ways.
I'll give you a hint. It was in 1996.
Ah, geez.
Come on. I know you know this.
I gotta rack my brain.
I'll give you another hint. He's a favorite player of both of ours.
Favorite player in both of ours.
And he's a fellow Paisan.
Fellow Paisan.
Mm-hmm. Now you
As
gotta
a
get
Dodger? It's not Mike Piazza.
Yes, it is. The one and
Hey,
only.
there we go.
Yep, Mike Piazza was the last Dodger to hit a home run in an All-Star game in 1996. That's insane.
Sometimes I forget he was a Dodger.
Yeah, he was a Dodger before he was a Met.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of crazy that it's been that long since a Dodger hit a home run in the All-Star game. Yeah, but I mean, it was a good game. The NL jumped out to a 3-0 lead. The AL came back and scored 3 of their own. Juan Soto had a double. Shout out to David Fry for hitting the game-tying RBI single.
Yeah, no kidding. That was kind of out of the blue, but yeah, shout out to David
Yeah,
Fry.
good for him. Yep. And then of course Jarren Duran hit the go ahead home run. So a decent amount of offense. Plenty of pitching. AL starter Corbin Burns. Corbin, Corbin Burns looked good. Paul Skeens, Carson. I know we had our doubts about Paul Skeens starting this game, but he actually did pretty damn good.
He was quite impressive to the
Uh,
surprise of both of us. Yes.
yeah. I mean, dude blew 100-mile-an-hour fastball, past Juan Soto. Like, blew the ball past Gunnar Henderson, blew it past Juan Soto, and then got Aaron Judge to ground out. That's pretty impressive work.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm not okay, disclaimer, I'm not in any way comparing these two players, but I have to admit the fact that this happened on the 25th anniversary of Pedro Martinez striking out the first 4 batters in the 99 All-Star game at Fenway. I was having a little flashback.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Oh, by the way, when they mentioned that it was the 25th anniversary, that was that makes me feel old. Yeah, Pedro, 6 batters, 5 strikeouts, slam dunk, All-Star. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Pedro Martinez in the 99 All-Star game struck out Barry Larkin, Larry Walker, Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire. In order to start the 99 All-Star game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was the 25th anniversary, and they brought that up a couple times. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so that was the All-Star game. The home run derby. The home run derby was it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't the greatest home run derby I've ever seen, but it was all right.
No. It wasn't. I don't even think it was as good as the ones we've seen recently.
But hey, who did I say was going to be I could potentially see winning, and who made it to the finals? Bobby Witt.
Yeah. Yep, he did. And came as close as he could to tying things up without actually, I mean, that ball was close. But yeah, we saw a couple of cool moments, a couple of close calls. I don't know, man. As far as the home run derby goes, they got to make some changes. They got to go back to get rid of the clock, get rid of the timer, go back to 10 outs, or keep the pitch count. I actually, I have to admit, I kind of like the pitch count thing that they did this year. Carson, hello. Did we lose Carson? Think we might have lost Carson, everybody. Hang on 1 second. Carson, are you there? Can you hear me? Oh.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry, my laptop decided to pull a Detroit Tigers and give me hope and then die out of nowhere.
Oh man. Um. All right. Well. Uh. Yeah, we're just having all kinds of fun with technology today.
Hooray,
Um.
technology.
Yeah, technology. But no, I mean the home run derby was okay. We had a couple. There was a couple cool moments. Alec Boehm. Uh. Alec Boehm to me, man, he shut up all the doubters.
Yeah, Alec Boehm also very impressive in this home run derby,
Yep.
no doubt.
He put all of the conversation to rest about whether or not he should have been there. I kind of like I think moving forward, uh I actually kind of like the pitch count thing that they did. I thought that was kind of cool. Get rid of the timer and bring back the 1 versus 8, 4, 5, 2, 7. Bring back the bracket for the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean the pitch count, I still don't really know how I feel about it, but um
Well, they didn't need the pitch count and the timer. That was
yeah.
or I mean, I've heard people say, go back to basing it off of outs. Um, yeah, I don't know. They definitely need to make some tweaks.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think when it was, it used to be every batter got 10 outs, and every hit was either a home run or an out. But for those of you who ever watched any of those older home run derbies when it was based on the 10 outs, those things could drag. They could really drag out, and that's why I don't know. That's why I think I like the pitch count a little better because you get they get the 40 pitches or whatever it is, and that's it. Um, yeah, they definitely need to make some tweaks, but it was yeah. I mean the home run derby. It's the home run derby. It's always there's always gonna be something fun to watch. There's always gonna be a cool moment or whatever. And of course, Teoscar Hernandez ended up coming on top. And another little interesting tidbit of trivia: Teoscar Hernandez, Carson, the first Dodger to win the home run derby.
Yeah, which is pretty wild considering how many
It's
great players have
insane.
played for the Dodgers and how many power hitters have played
Yeah.
for the Dodgers.
I can't believe I thought for sure when they said that, I'm like, nah, that can't be right. I thought for sure, well, I mean, we were just talking about, I thought for sure Mike Piazza at some point had won the home run derby as a Dodger.
I would have thought so, but
You would think, but yeah, so that was kind of a cool little interesting, one of those fun little tidbits of trivia um, that we get in baseball. But yeah, overall, I'd give the whole thing, the home run derby in the All-Star game, give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
mhm. Yeah.
Um, some tweaks needed. We'll talk uh more about Rob Manfred and his little press conference about the uniforms here in a second. So that's it. That's it, everybody. That's the All-Star game for this year. Um, next year they're off to Atlanta for 2025. Um, not really sure how I feel about that. I mean, yeah, okay. And then 2026 off to Philadelphia, obviously, with it being the um what do they call that? Uh what do they call so it's the 250th anniversary. 2026 is obviously the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I mean, you can't have it anywhere. You can't have that All-Star game anywhere other than Philadelphia.
Mhm.
That's like the most no-brainer of no-brainers. The Bisesquicentennial. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Bless you.
So yeah, I know, right? Sounds like a rare disease or something. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, but you have the bisesquicentennial. You only have 6 months to live. I'm sorry. No, but yeah, 2026 is obviously that's a no-brainer. You can't have that game anywhere other than Philadelphia. Um, I don't know how to. I do have some thoughts on this year's venue. Um, for those of you who caught this week's two strike count, you already know this. But basically, I'm not Carson. I'm not happy with. I wasn't thrilled that Texas got the All-Star game. So for those of you who remember 2021, the All-Star game was moved from Atlanta to Denver because of a voting law that Georgia passed. And so Major League Baseball was basically like, hey, this doesn't align with our values. This doesn't, this isn't cool. We're moving the All-Star game. Like that was enough to move it. But the fact that the Rangers just flat out refuse to acknowledge pride at all, like that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I don't get where the disconnect is there. But anyways, that's that. What else we got going on? Believe it or not, the 2025 MLB schedule is out. As I pull that up here. 2025 schedule. Let's see. So real quick, some highlights. Traditional day opening day is March 27th. All 30 teams will play like always. But the 2025 season, actually, the 2025 season will begin like 2024 did overseas. Carson, and we get the Dodgers and the Cubs in Tokyo.
Let's go. Seiya Suzuki over there versus Shohei Ohtani. Let's go.
And Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
And Yamamoto.
Yeah.
And Shota Imanaga.
Yeah, and Shota Imanaga. Yeah, right. So, I mean, there you go. 4 Japanese superstars. Yeah, it's I have to admit, when I first saw that it was the Dodgers, I went, really? The Dodgers again? But I mean, I can't argue with that star power. So that'll be on March 18th to the 19th at the Tokyo Dome. MLB's first trip to Japan since the A's and the Mariners opened the 2019 season in Tokyo. That's kind of crazy. Like I said, opening day, March 27th. The A's, the Sacramento A's, presumably, opened the season with 4 games in Seattle. They'll play their first ever game in Sacramento on March 31st. Yeah, that's a disaster. I actually am just seeing this for the first time. The opening Tokyo series between the Dodgers and Cubs, the only international series on the schedule next year. No London games, no Mexico City, I guess. So apparently MLB had hoped to play games in Paris in 2025, but that fell through. What the heck happened there? This is the first I'm hearing of this. Cancels Paris games in 2025 after being able to find a promoter. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of sucks. Well, that's kind of a bummer because I know we're both fans of the international games.
Yeah, absolutely. The international games are a ton of fun.
The London games the last couple of years have been awesome. we've had a couple series in Mexico City. So the Red Sox and Rays played in the Dominican Republic during spring training. But all right, well, I guess at least we get the series in Tokyo. And this next thing, this might be my favorite. This might be my favorite part of this. So May 16th through the 18th, we're getting a quote unquote rivalry weekend. Will feature 11 series involving division rivals, plus 4 series involving geographic rivals. I've actually got I think I saved the full. Yeah, here we go. So these are the matchups for the rivalry weekend, May 16th through 18th of next year. We've got Mets, Yankees. Okay, cool. We've got Pirates, Phillies. Yep. Nationals, Orioles. Cool. White Sox and Cubs. Yep. A's and Giants. Yeah. Rangers, Astros, Angels, Dodgers, Rays, Marlins. That's kind of cool. Little Florida rivalry. I mean, most of these make sense, but Carson, some of these are a bit weird to me. The Twins and the Brewers. I mean,
Yeah. Look, okay. Yes, Minnesota and Wisconsin are rivals in a lot of things. College
yeah,
hockey, absolutely.
college
Football,
yeah,
absolutely. College football, absolutely. Pro football, absolutely.
yeah.
But
But
baseball,
baseball, yeah,
no.
no,
Like, just
no.
because two states are next to each other does not make them rivals. One team is they're in completely different leagues.
Leagues,
There
yeah,
is no rivalry there. Like,
yeah,
oh, this rivalry is really heating up. Heating up from what? 2 degrees to 5? Like, there's no rivalry there.
yeah,
I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to play on the Minnesota versus Wisconsin thing because of all the reasons that I just listed, but there's no
yeah.
rivalry there.
No, the Twins and the Brewers are not natural rivals. Um, Tigers, Blue Jays. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know how to, I can't justify that one. That
The
one's weird.
only well, no, actually, this just kind of occurred to me. I think I get the Tigers, Blue Jays because Detroit and Toronto are that's kind of a geographic thing. Um, I don't know how good everyone's geography is, but Detroit is like right, Canada's right there. So I guess I see what would be better would be if we had the Expos back and we had the Expos and Blue Jays. Um, in a Canadian, I mean, because Toronto and Montreal talk about rivals, they do not get along. What else have we got? Royals and Cardinals, yeah, I get it. Missouri, Rockies, Diamondbacks, yeah, sure. That's kind of a one-sided rivalry, but okay. Giants, A's, Battle of the Bay, yep. Guardians, Reds. Okay, I get it. Cleveland and Cincinnati. They're rivals they're rivals in football. You've got the Browns and you've got the Bengals. They're division rivals in the NFL, but I feel like we could have done Twins. I'd rather have Twins Guardians than Guardians Reds.
Yeah, I would have rather done that, but like
Yeah,
just where is the rivalry there? Like, at least I guess with the Twins and the Brewers, there was a little bit of a rivalry after Carlos Gomez went to the Twins from the Brewers, or JJ Hardy. Like, at
yeah,
least Milwaukee was like, that's kind of annoying. But like, where?
yeah.
There's nothing.
No,
At least nothing that I can think of that would connect either one of those. Like, oh, they're two cities in Ohio.
I was
Boom,
gonna
rivals,
say they're
rivals,
yeah,
they're rivals,
yeah,
they're rivals. Everybody. Like,
yeah. That's the only thing is connecting those two teams is geography. I think that's Braves, Red Sox. That might sound weird to people at first, but there's history there. I mean, again, they're not really rivals, but there is a historical connection. The Braves were at one time the Boston Braves I mean, they moved from Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta. I don't know. I feel like we could have done better, but I don't know who else you pick. I mean, obviously you compare Red Sox and Yankees, but we get to see that all the time. Yeah, Braves Red Sox is a little weird. But here's the one. Here's the one that makes the least sense to me. The one that I looked at this thing and I went, what? Mariners and Padres. How could we forget about that classic rivalry between Seattle and San Diego, Carson? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Did they face off in like a World Series or something, or like?
I don't. There's no talk about two cities with zero connection. Like,
Kids, I mean, just no. Just
maybe they're going for a showdown of two like beautiful cities. Maybe that's what they're going for.
sure,
Because those are both beautiful cities. So this feels like they put together all these other matchups, and then they got to they went, crap, we only have two teams left. We only have we have the Mariners and Padres left. Oh well, let's put them together.
I mean, doing a quick little Google search. Apparently, I don't know if this is still a thing, but apparently they share like a spring training stadium or something.
Oh wow, that's a rivalry.
You have the same stadium as we do for spring training.
Oh
Unacceptable rivalry weekend.
Guys, there's no connection between. Yeah, the tweet about this says, all 15 series matchups will feature some form of rivalry, geographic, right? Like we talked about, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Angels, historical, Red Sox and Braves, or the last two left without a lab partner, Seattle and San Diego.
Brilliant.
I love it. Oh man. Yeah, so a little hit or miss on the rivalry thing, but I like it. I like what they're doing. I like that they're trying to grow these rivalries and I like what they're doing. What else have we got? Prime interleague rivals will play 6 games rather than 4. So Mets, Yankees, A's, Giants, Cubs, White Sox, and Cardinals, Royals will play 6 games against each other rather than 4.
Wait, did you say A's and White Sox?
No, A's and Giants.
Oh, I thought you said A's and White Sox. I was
No.
like, oh boy, we get to see We get to see 2 more battles of the losers. Oh boy.
No, A's, Giants. Which that rivalry is obviously dropped off over the years for obvious reasons, but
the Athletics suck.
Yeah, the A's are awful, and also that won't be the Battle of the Bay anymore because the A's will be in Sacramento.
Yeah, it'll be the battle of, I don't know, whatever highway there is in California.
That would be Interstate 5. That runs from north to south in California.
Wow, that doesn't even sound good. The Battle of I-5.
Yeah. Cool. Oh man, this is weird how stuff triggers stuff. That just reminded me of back in the day when arena football was still a thing, and you had the Orlando and Tampa Bay were arena football rivalries, and they called it the War on I-4, which to me is the greatest name for a rivalry ever. I don't know. That just made me think of that for some reason. Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, Royals. The 95th All-Star Game, which we mentioned. Tuesday, July 15th at Truist Park in Atlanta. Which means the Futures game will be on July 12th. The draft will start on July 13th, and the Home Run Derby will be on the 14th. And then the regular season ends with all 30 teams in action on Sunday, September 28th, with 8 divisional matchups. That'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully there's still some playoff spots up for grabs. And the playoffs will begin on Tuesday, September 30th. And then they've got the 2025 opening day schedule here. Giants, Reds, Rockies, Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays. That's a good one. Guardians, Royals. Ooh, the Red Sox open 2025 in Texas against the Rangers. Okay, interesting. Twins, Cardinals. Wow, it's kind of a lackluster opening day schedule, but okay. Well, whatever. I guess it is what it is. But yeah. Anyways, that is the 2025. Some of the highlights of the 2025 schedule. I mean, obviously we're a ways away from that, but I don't know. Kind of cool to take a peek ahead at what's in store for next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's coming up on the horizon. All right. Rob Manfred. I mean, one of me and Carson's favorite people, right, Carson?
Absolutely. We loved Rob Manfred.
Yeah,
Rob, is my check in the mail for saying that?
we're big fans of Rob Manfred here on the show. Yeah. Not. However, he did have some interesting things to talk about during the All-Star break. Maybe the biggest one, it seems, Carson, as though Major League Baseball is finally going to listen to fans and bring back players wearing their own uniforms at the All-Star game.
It's about, as LeBron James said, it's about damn time. My goodness. I mean, you know how bad these jerseys had to be, AJ, for Manfred to even say this? Like, they had to be bad.
And the National League ones were okay. The American League ones were intolerable.
Yeah, they could have laid down and camouflaged themselves into the infield if they really wanted to with those things.
Yeah, they were bad. But this year's All-Star game was the fourth year in a row that players wore, sort of generic American League and National League jerseys. Which, I mean, it makes it hard to tell them apart. But yeah, Rob Manfred, Commissioner Rob Manfred, who has said he prefers the look of players in All-Star jerseys instead of their team jerseys. Yeah, that figures. Manfred said, I'm aware of the sentiment on this issue. I think where my head is on it, it's something we're going to have a conversation about coming out of the All-Star game. So that's good. That's a start. Where was that other? Where's the other? There's a whole thing about. Where the hell is it? Sorry, everybody. I had the article pulled up about Manfred's. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. What else did Manfred talk about? Talked about the A's moving to Sacramento.
And how much I'm sure he loves it.
No, he actually talked about how they're going to have to play as many night games as possible because of the heat. Who'da thunk? Scorching hot temperatures in California? What?
No.
The vast majorities can be played at night when it's cooler. MLB is also planning to use a playing surface that has a specific hydration component to it in terms of water being added. Some day games are necessary. Manfred said the league is going to make it so that teams typically don't have to travel to a faraway destination from leaving Sacramento. Of course, the A's are hoping to open a stadium in Vegas in 2028. Yeah, not holding my breath on that one. Yeah, that's going to be. Oh man, I hate to be the pessimist, Carson, but this Sacramento thing is going to be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it's not going to be very good.
No, this is going to be bad. Man, I feel so bad for A's fans. Manfred City believes A's owner John Fisher has the necessary funding to proceed with stadium construction in Las Vegas. Actually, he doesn't. There's still a lawsuit court case pending about that. So that's something. Talked about future All-Star Game cities. They asked him about potential host cities. Carson, sounds like Baltimore and Toronto are both in the mix to host upcoming All-Star games, to which both of them I say yes.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Absolutely. They're both of those cities so deserving.
So Toronto hasn't hosted since 1991. Baltimore hasn't hosted since 1993. That's a long time. The only other teams with longer waits are the A's. Well, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And the Cubs, who last hosted in 1990.
Jeez.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is Chicago, Toronto, and Baltimore need to have an All-Star game soon.
Yeah, that's a travesty. There hasn't been one in Wrigley since
Since
1990.
1990. Yeah.
That's a travesty.
Yeah. Obviously, I'd like to see the All-Star game come back to Boston at some point. It's been since 1999. It's been 25 years since we had one in Boston. The Tampa Bay Rays are the only team to have never hosted the game. And guess what? Spoiler alert, Rays fans, ain't never gonna happen. Ever.
Gee, I wonder why is that, AJ? Why haven't they hosted an All-Star game? I can't quite put my finger on it.
Could have it. I'm just going on a limb here. It could have something to do that they play with the fact that they play in an absolute dump of a stadium that also happens to be in the middle of nowhere. I'm just a theory.
Not only is the stadium out of date, but so are the naming rights. I mean, is Tropicana, like, are they even popular anymore? Like,
I mean, they still make great orange juice.
Shout out to Tropicana's orange juice, but yeah, that stadium.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Although it sounds like they may be getting a new stadium soon, but we'll talk about that later. So the Rays, that's never gonna happen. So that's all good news. He talked about Manfred talked about the Rangers, and Pride Night wasn't a determining factor for choosing the All-Star game location, even though it should have been. Here's an interesting one. Unlike in other sports, most draft picks cannot be traded in baseball. Mostly because at one point, MLB front offices would have made some really bad decisions with trading those picks. But Manfred is open to the possibility probably in the next collective bargaining agreement, of letting teams trade draft picks. That could be very interesting.
Honestly, I absolutely love it. This is one thing that I have wanted to see from baseball for so long. And again, like other, I know that baseball traditionalists are probably immediately about to turn the show off because their ears are bleeding because of me. But I just I don't know, AJ, something for me about the thrill of trading a draft pick and not knowing how that trade will look is just, I don't know. There's something about trading draft picks that just, I love it. I love this change. I think it gives teams an extra, a little extra, what's the word I'm looking for here? A little extra assets to go into trades with instead of having to trade all their top prospects. I can trade you. I'll trade you a first round pick this year and a third round pick next year or something like that. Like there are more chips to play with on the trade market, and it could create for a lot more interesting trade deadlines and a lot of, a lot more interesting. Okay, here's the price of kind of some of the premium players right now are 2 prospects and a top draft pick.
Yep. Yeah, because as it is right now, if you're a team and you want to go out and trade for one of these premium players, like you said, you got to sell the farm. You got to trade, your top 3 prospects. And a lot of times a player on the major league roster. Yeah, so being able to have that extra sort of like draft capital, I mean, yeah, why not? They do it in all the other major sports. I mean, almost every trade you see in the NHL, the NBA, and especially the NFL. Holy crap, do they love trading draft picks in the NFL? I mean, the NFL, they trade draft picks on the day of the draft. Like, imagine if that was happening in the MLB draft. That would make the MLB draft a lot more exciting, I think, for people to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it.
Because I mean, let's be honest. The NFL has the best draft out of all the drafts. It's the most exciting. It's the one people pay the most attention to. It's the one that gets the most coverage. Um, Although the NBA and NHL are trying to change that, but what makes the NFL draft so exciting to watch? You know, teams are going to be swapping picks. Like, teams are trading up, teams are trading down, they're swapping picks, they're trading picks for more picks later on in the draft. Like, it's insanity. If MLB can somehow bottle that, the MLB draft goes to a whole other level.
Mm-hmm.
Which is obviously a good thing. Yeah, so that's where Mr. Manfred is on that. Although again, it sounds like that's not likely to happen until the end of the current CBA, which runs through the 2026 season. So we've got a little ways to go on that. What else did Mr. Manfred talk about? Oh, yeah. How did I miss this one? It sounds like, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like where MLB could test the automated strike zone in spring training next year. Could.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I've gotten the chance now to go to a couple of AAA games where they are currently utilizing this and kind of seeing it in action. It's very interesting, and there were still certainly people around me that were yelling at the umpire, like, "Come on, that was a ball!" And it's like,
jeez.
sir, the umpire is just saying what the system is telling him to say.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the one actually making the call, so calm down there.
Yeah.
But it's overall, like, in seeing it firsthand in a AAA game, I think it could be a system that works. Certainly a system that I think would need some tweaks in terms of, I think we would need to maybe take down the number of challenges, because otherwise you're going to be challenging pitches left and right, and that gives it a little bit of strategy for when you want to use them. If you've got, and obviously, I don't think you should be able to challenge. Granted, they can't. I don't think right now in AAA, or at least I haven't seen it done, where you can't challenge like a strike 3 call or something like that. But
interesting.
At least I haven't seen it done, so I don't know if that's actually a thing, if they can't, or if they just choose not to. But
well, that would be that would be interesting. If you could challenge it. Yeah, I don't know, man. So there's basically two forms of this thing. One is the one you're talking about, where it's used on every pitch, where basically the automated system is determining whether a ball is just a pitch is a ball or strike. And then there's the challenge system. So it sounds like there's again possibility that MLB is going to test. We don't know which version in spring training next year. But Manfred did say if the test is successful, the soonest it would be implemented would be in 2026, which is again, that's the end of the current collective bargaining agreement, which that makes sense, because that's a huge earth-shattering change. I don't know about you, man. I mean, they've definitely got to do something, but I've researched both of them, and I honestly don't know which one I gotta be honest, I'm not crazy about the idea of the automated system being used on every pitch.
That's fair.
I know umpires are, well, let's be honest. Some umpires are better than others at calling balls and strikes, but there's something that feels weird to me about like essentially removing that component of the game where the umpire is basically just standing there and gets a signal from the ABS of whether I don't know. It feels a little too Skynet to me. I like the challenge system. I do like the challenge system. But I think you're right. I think we need to figure out, okay, how many challenges are you going to get per game? Like, like you were talking about before, are you going to be able, or will you be able to challenge a third, a strike three? Will you be able to challenge after a certain point of the game? Will you be able to, because are we going to see teams challenge a called third strike in the bottom of the ninth inning? Like, I don't know. That's a slippery slope to me.
Very much so.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out, but the thing to take away from all of this, at least Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred has finally acknowledged, look, we've got a problem with balls and strikes and umpires. We need to do something, and they've got the beginnings of a solution at least.
Yeah, absolutely. At least they've got some sort of idea of where they want to go. So
Yeah.
And another solution is Angel Hernandez retiring. So.
Yeah, but he wasn't the only bad one. We've still got plenty of other knuckleheads behind.
That's true. That's true.
But I don't think, kind of my one last thought on this thing, I don't think the ABS, whichever form they decide to go with, I don't think that can be the only solution. I think the other solution is, I think umpires need to go through, well, one, they need to be better trained. And two, there needs to be some sort of accountability system in place for umpires where if you do a good job, you get rewarded with, umpiring more, like marquee games or even getting to umpire in the playoffs. And if you don't do so great, then you don't get those opportunities. Some sort of accountability for them. Carson.
Yeah, like some sort of almost kind of like
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, did I cut out?
You did, yes.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Thought we lost you again.
Yeah, I don't that one I don't really have an explanation for.
Oh man. But yeah, just some sort of, like the NHL does it with their referees. If you're an NHL referee and you do a good job, you get rewarded with opportunities like being to referee in the playoffs. And if you don't, you don't. So I don't know. I think baseball needs to do something like that, some sort of accountability system. And last but not least, the last thing Rob Manfred talked about, the Olympics. Not this year's Olympics, that are, wow, holy crap, starting like 5 days. Yes, let's freaking go. Love me some Olympic Games. No, Rob Manfred was talking about the 2028 Olympic Games, which of course are going to be in LA. And whether or not Major League Baseball is going to participate in said Olympics. So the league's owners already met with Manfred and the head of the LA Olympic Committee, dude named Casey Wasserman, to make a presentation. And it sounds like if MLB is to participate at the Olympics, the players would have to agree to reduce the schedule from 162 games for one season, or to extend the playing calendar to accommodate the Olympics, because obviously they're going to have an a break like the NHL does when they play in the Winter Olympics.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I know what Anthony Rendon would choose.
yeah. MLB Players Association Executive Director Tony Clark says there's no formal position from the players at that point. But he likes the idea. I don't know, man. Like, I get I can sort of see the appeal. I mean, who doesn't want to see Shohei? I mean, especially where the Olympics in LA. You know, who doesn't want to see Shohei Ohtani? You know, playing for Team Japan in a gold medal game or something in in LA or whatever. But we've already got the WBC. Why do we need to? Pardon my French. Why do we need to fuck up the season so that they can play in the Olympics?
I mean, I get that, but at the same time, like if if MLB chooses not to participate, that's a boneheaded move. I mean, like this is the
Wow. Okay.
I mean no disrespect to the World Series obviously and everything like that, but this is the mecca. Like this is the chance for you to play for your country. Like how could you not want to take advantage
But
of that potential?
but they already get that opportunity with the World Baseball Classic. See what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. I know.
I'm
I know the WBC is not on the same level as the Olympics. Don't get me wrong. But I just I don't know. Like I'll be honest with all of you, I hate when the NHL participates in the Olympics, not because I don't want to see the best players in the world playing in the Olympics, which let's be honest, the NHL has the best players in the world, but it's because we got to take 2 weeks off in the middle of the season so that we can go to Switzerland or wherever. No, I don't know, I just threw Switzerland out there. But and I don't really want baseball to do the same thing.
and I didn't think about the WBC, and that is a fair point, but again, it doesn't hold a candle to
No,
participating in
the
the
Olympics. No, obviously. I mean, the Olympics is the Olympics.
well, and who knows, maybe they could do something um kind of like how for soccer this year in the Olympics, how they're or football, how they're kind of doing it this year where like there are only like 3 players that you can take that are above the age of like
Right.
26.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe they do something like that so that some of these younger guys maybe have a chance to represent at the Olympics,
Right.
whereas all of the stars can still play in the WBC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the WBC is in March, and the Olympics are in what, July probably. Yeah. I don't know. I guess what if I'm going to take a rational approach to this, I should wait and see. Because there's obviously still time. This decision's not going to be probably not going to be made anytime soon. I mean, the Olympics in LA aren't until 2028. We've got 4 years. So there's this decision isn't going to be made tomorrow. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on, because reducing the schedule or making the season longer to accommodate the players that are going to go. Actually, that's a pretty cool. I didn't realize that that football was doing that. That's actually pretty cool. So I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. But I don't know, everybody. As of this moment, as of right now, I'm don't mess with my baseball season. Like, it's bad enough that we have to deal with it in hockey. Like, come on. I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah, so that was what Mr. Rob Manfred had to say during the All-Star break. I don't know, man. Like that's the most information Rob Manfred has passed on in maybe ever. Like, and it was actually useful information.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best he's done at communicating probably since he's been commissioner. So, yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's play some buy or sell. Let's just jump right into these. Carson, buy or sell that Randy Arozarena will be on a new team after the deadline.
Oh, we're starting out tough because
Yep.
I mean the Rays are in a very interesting position coming into this trade deadline. You
Yes.
know, sitting at 500, 11 games back of the division lead. They're probably not going to hit that, but they're 4.5 games outside the wild card spot. And the Rays are one of those teams, like a lot of teams right now in baseball, that have to decide, you know, do we want to pursue this wild card spot, or do we just want to sell the farm and just prepare for potentially a retool, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. In this case with Randy Arozarena, I have to sell this. I don't see them trading. The biggest thing that I could see them potentially doing is trading a starting pitcher to make room for Springs to come back into that rotation. That's the biggest thing that I could potentially see them doing. I don't think Randy Arozarena is going anywhere.
No, because even if they do decide, okay, we're out of it this year, we're not gonna get into the playoffs this year. Even if they decide, okay, we need to retool or whatever, for next year, you want to keep Randy Arozarena, because he's a big, obviously he's a big part of your team. And he's a building block. Like he's the kind of player that you can build around. So, now I think I've got to sell this one too. Although I think there could be some really intriguing trade packages for Randy Arozarena, but yeah, we'll see. All right, buy or sell that the Orioles are better primed than the Yankees to make a deep playoff run.
Oh, again, tough.
By the way, shout out to producer Tasha for coming up with these buy or sells, because wow, she is putting us through our paces this week.
Yeah, producer Tasha has done a phenomenal job this week.
Yes. I mean, she always does, but
of course, yes. Not that producer Tasha never does a fantastic job, because she is the best producer in the biz.
That's right.
But anywho, oh man, this is hard. But the main thing that I keep coming back to here is the Orioles now have now been there, but they're still so young. I just I gotta sell. I don't think that experience, that veteran presence on the Yankees, I don't think that can be understated.
Are the Yankees really that much older than the Orioles? Like,
they've got to be.
Are they? Now I'm curious. Is there a way to look up average age?
I'm sure that if you go to, I'm guessing if we go to Baseball Reference and just go to the team pages, it'll give us the average age.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see. Baltimore Orioles.
Let's see, 2024 Orioles.
I thought it did.
I thought it did too, but now I don't see it.
Okay, well, looking at the Orioles starting, they're 26, 27, 29, 23, 25, 24, 29, 29, 30. Okay. Pitchers 29. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're not. Yeah. All right. And then
it appears I may be wrong. At least I don't know if this is up to date, but according to an ESPN page that I found. Again, I
Mhm.
don't know what year this is from. It didn't really say, but the Baltimore Orioles average age is 29.
Mhm.
The New York Yankees average age is 28.9.
Oh, well, I mean, that's not much of a difference. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, here we go. I found the baseball reference one. So at least they break it into batting ages and pitching ages.
Okay.
So for the Baltimore Orioles, their average batting age is 27.1.
Uh-huh.
The New York Yankees is 28.3.
Oh,
The
okay.
average pitching age, the Baltimore Orioles are 29.6. The
Mm-hmm.
New York Yankees are 29.8. So very
Okay.
close in the
So
pitching.
they're pretty close. I mean, yeah, if you want to base that off of, um, I'm a big fan of the eye test, and I look at the Orioles and how they're built, and I look at the Yankees and I look at how they're built. The Yankees have got some serious like injury concerns. You still don't have Garrett Cole. I mean, he will be back at some point, they hope. Um, I don't know, man. This is tough. Damn it. And again, this is all we're talking about all this stuff before the trade deadline. I mean, both of these teams are going to go out and be active at the deadline. We know that. Um, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm buying this. I think the Orioles are better. I think the Orioles are better built and better primed to make a deep run in October. Simply for the fact that, yeah, the Orioles have had their fair of pitching of injuries too, but for the most part, the Orioles are healthier, and I have more I have more confidence in the Orioles front office than I do in the Yankees front office to do what needs to be done at the trade deadline to get them where they want to go.
Mm,
Brian Cashman, I have zero faith in Brian Cashman. Zero.
yeah, that's fair.
He's just Brian Cashman used to be one of the best GMs in baseball, and he's made some really boneheaded moves in the last few years. And I don't know, the Orioles the Yankees seem like they're just content to just be which this might sound dumb, but the Yankees seem to be content to just kind of be the Yankees and just kind of go out and spend money on these big name players like Juan Soto and just sort of do the Yankee thing that they've been doing for all the years. The Orioles to me, Carson, they seem hungry. They want to win a championship. They want to do it this year. They know they're right there. The Orioles just seem hungrier to me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. The Yankees are just, I don't know. Well, I mean, we know the Yankees are just a bunch of stormtroopers anyways. So, anyways, buy or sell. The Cardinals can catch the Brewers in the NL Central.
Yeah, again, producer Tasha is killing it this week.
Throwing down.
But of course, this one hits a special place, I think, in producer
Yes, it
Tasha's heart
does.
with her Cardinals.
Yes.
And to reference Tayo Cruz, producer Tasha, I'm sorry, but I'm only going to break your heart. And I am going to sell this. The Brewers, I think,
Oh
have a
my God.
stronghold on this division. I don't see the Cardinals catching up.
What is the current spread in the National League Central? 5 games, huh? Well, I don't know. 5 games. 5 games is not. It's not insurmountable. I don't know. Like the Cardinals are just. I know. I mean, obviously, the Cardinals are better than they were last year, which that's not hard to do. Um, and somehow the Cardinals just feel like they're just sort of in disarray. Um, they're just kind of, I mean, 5-5 in their last 10. Um, yeah, sorry, Tosh, but I've got to sell this. I mean, 5 games is not a lot, but the Cardinals are just sort of all over the place. I do think there's a team that can catch the Brewers in the National League Central, and it's the team that plays in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Pirates have won. In case you haven't noticed, everybody, the Pirates have won 8 of their last 10, 6 in a row. They are hot.
they are indeed, but that's I think that's a little bit of a hot take.
Is it? Yeah, maybe. Oh, by the way, the Pirates are only half a game out of a wild card spot. Who saw that coming? Not me. Pirates, I don't know, man. I feel like the Pirates are starting to put it together, and that is bad news for the rest of the National League. And also, check out the Diamondbacks. 7 of the last 10, 2 in a row. The D-backs are starting to put it together too. That is also bad news for the rest of the National League, because when the D-backs, friendly reminder, everybody, the D-backs have still yet to. They're still getting. They're getting Jordan Montgomery back. They're getting Eduardo Rodriguez back. Yeah, that's also bad news. But no, I could 100% see the Pirates. I could see them go on a run here and catch the Brewers. Not so much for the Cardinals, but I could see the Pirates if the Pirates keep doing what they're doing, and if they have a good deadline, which I feel like they will. Yeah, I could see that. All right, last but definitely not least, buy or sell. Chris Sale is the mid-season NL Cy Young winner.
Gee, if only the Red Sox had a player like that.
Yeah, as the great Bob Lobel used to say, if only the Red Sox could get players like that.
But yeah, for me, I have to buy this. I mean, he's having a phenomenal season. I mean, leading, as far as I know, leading the NL in ERA at 2.7. I mean, 2.7 ERA across 110 innings pitched, which has already eclipsed what he did last season. Just, I mean, no, man, I feel bad for Red Sox fans this season. 140 strikeouts, a whip under 1. Like, he's been absolutely incredible. 100% I'm buying this.
Yeah. Now, you know what, though? I'm happy for Chris Sale. And honestly, I feel like he had gone as far as he was going to go with the Red Sox. That it was time to end that partnership. But I mean, Cy Young. Yeah, he's got the ERA, whip under 1, opposing batting average is about 200. Where is he on strikeouts? 140 strikeouts. He's having quite a year. 13-3. I don't know, man. He's having a hell of a year, but I think I go to sell this. I think if I had a Cy Young vote this year, I'm either going Zach Wheeler or Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, it's definitely a 3-headed race between all 3 of those guys right now. That's
I was gonna say this Cy Young race is gonna be Cy Young voting for the National League is gonna be intense. You've got Sale, you've got Wheeler, and you've got Suarez, all with an ERA under 2.8, all with a whip in the neighborhood of 1, all with an opposing batting average of less than 220. All with 100 plus strikeouts. Yeah, this is going to be intense. And wow, things just really kind of after Ranger Suarez, it really just kind of drops off. Wow, that's wow. I'm actually kind of staggered by that, by how much it drops off. Damn. How about Mitch? Wow, shout out to Mitch Keller of the Pirates. 10-5, 3.46 ERA. A whip of 1.25, an opposing batting average of 255, and 105 strikeouts. Shout out to Mitch Keller. Good for him. Nice to see a Pittsburgh Pirate on this list for a change of pace. All right, that's buy or sell, everybody. Let's move on to the mailbag. Mackenzie F. Which teams do you guys think will be the most aggressive buyers at the deadline?
I think there's a few different routes that you could go here. I think that the Yankees will probably be pretty aggressive to try and catch up to the Orioles. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Seattle needs to be aggressive at the deadline. Get some offense. Get some offense in that lineup before it flatlines. The Phillies, I think, could be a team to watch, to be particularly aggressive, not necessarily in maybe the big names, but just making a few tweaks, getting some depth pieces, preparing for what should be a long playoff run well.
They hope.
I think everybody hopes.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about the Phillies. The Phillies don't need to go crazy. The Dodgers, I don't think, well, I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't matter what the Dodgers do, because they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. They're going to choke like they always do. Although I do think the Dodgers will probably go out and do something crazy. I actually think, I think the Orioles are going to go for it. These are the teams I think they're really going to go for it. They're really going to be aggressive about getting better at the deadline. The Orioles are going to go for it. The Guardians are going to go for it. The Yankees probably, although I feel like the Yankees don't have a lot to bargain with. I am cautiously optimistic that my Red Sox are going to be aggressive. And again, Carson, we talked about this before the All-Star break. The Red Sox don't need to go crazy. They need a starting pitcher and they need a second baseman and call it good. Let's see. Yeah, the Mariners. The Mariners probably should have been aggressive before now. The Mariners should have been aggressive when they had a 10 freaking game lead in the division. And now they're not only not leading the division anymore, now they're not even in the wild card spot. They're 2.5 games out now. They've lost 5 in a row. Like, that was the moment, and they blew it. Hey, guys, we're 10 games up in the division. Maybe we should make a move now. You know, not a huge move, maybe, but idiots. Way to go, Jerry. The Phillies. I don't think the Phillies need to go crazy. I don't really think. A team I think needs to be aggressive, and I don't know if they will be or not. I think the Braves need to do something. The Braves need to make a splash. I mean, even though I don't think they have it, I don't think they're going to catch the Phillies, but the Braves are in need of some help. Teams I'd like to see be aggressive. I would love to see the Pirates go out and make a splash at the deadline and go, you know what? We've got Paul Skeens. We've got Mitch Keller. Let's go. Like, I feel like the Pirates have been sort of playing this, like, yeah, let's wait till next year type thing. They've been playing this waiting game. No more. Come on, Ben Cherington. Let's go, buddy. Make a big move. Make a splash. But we'll see. Yeah, and then I think on the other side of this thing, I think we're gonna have some teams that are going to aggressively selling. The White Sox, the A's. I mean, the White Sox, you've got Garrett Crochet, you've got Luis Robert. The A's, you've got Mason Miller and Brent Rooker. I don't think any of those players will be on those teams post deadline. The Marlins, the Rockies. I think it's a pretty safe bet, Carson, that Jazz Chisholm Jr. will not be a Miami Marlin after the deadline.
Yeah, I think that's a very safe bet, and I gotta say, I mean, I feel bad for Marlins fans. Like the amount of talent that you have on this team, and now to see it probably get blown up after now that Luis Ariz is gone and that Jazz Chisholm is probably on his way out. Just man.
Yeah, sucks for Marlins fans. But yeah. All right. Eric T wants to know, what do you think about an all-star game being played in a non-MLB city?
No.
I hate it.
No, sorry.
No.
I mean, like, I get what Eric's going for here, trying to grow the game and all that, but it makes me...
Well, good on you, because I don't see the appeal. What, we're gonna have an all-star game in what, Tokyo? Like, no, I hate it. That's a horrible idea. Terrible. That's a terrible idea. There are other ways to grow the game. Like, we can have, like, having the international games, the regular season games, or having, like, when the Rays and the Red Sox played in the Dominican Republic in spring training this year. Like, we can do stuff like that. Or, geez, I don't know, if only we had an international tournament featuring MLB players. Hey, you know what, Carson? We could call it the World Baseball Classic. All-Star. Yeah, I know. It's a genius idea, I know. No, leave the All-Star game alone. Like, no. That's almost as dumb an idea as playing a Super Bowl out in London. Like, no. Just no. Leave it alone. Brian B, what do you make of St. Petersburg approving the new Rays stadium?
A good step forward in the right direction. If you want to keep this team there, you need a new stadium. And I mean, this is obviously a good step in the right direction, getting it approved, and hopefully that means that hopefully this facility will be modern and upgraded. But then again, to upgrade Tropicana Field, you could literally put some new font in the stadium, and that'd be an upgrade. But yeah, I mean, certainly a step forward in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously good news if you're a Rays fan for all 5 of you. Nothing? No reaction? Okay.
I was expecting it. Like, this happens every time we talk about the Rays. You do the Rays fans dirty. At this point, it's expected. I don't have a reaction.
I'm fairly certain that no Rays fans listen to the show anymore. I think I've effectively alienated all of them. I mean, I joke, but come on. Like, even as a Rays fan, you have to admit, your team is a disaster. Your stadium sucks. Your stadium's in the middle of nowhere. It's not easy being a Rays fan. I'm not picking on the fans so much as the team. The team is just a train wreck. They've had all this talent come through there, and they went to one World Series 16 years ago. It sucks. It's embarrassing. But no, clearly they need a new stadium. They can't, like, I'm surprised they've played in Tropicana Field as long as they have, mostly because it's old. And they haven't done anything to improve it. So what it sounds like is this new stadium. Well, let's see. Here's an article from Yeah, so the St. Pete City Council has, in fact, it's officially approved. So that's already a step in the right direction because this has been going on for decades. Here's the only issue I have with this. Council has approved a deal to build a stadium on the Tropicana Field site. Okay. What's that old saying about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? The whole, other than Tropicana Field being old and dilapidated, the problem with Tropicana Field and the reason the Rays can't even fill the place for playoff games is because of the location. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the St. Pete, Tampa area, Tropicana Field is not, well, for one, they're called the Tampa Bay Rays, but they don't play in Tampa Bay. They play in St. Petersburg, which is right next door. Tropicana Field is not in downtown St. Petersburg. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. It's probably the most inaccessible Major League Baseball stadium, save for Fenway Park. And that's why they can't draw. That's why they have these attendance issues. If you're going to build a new stadium, build it somewhere where the fans can get to it. I know that crazy thought.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a good point.
So they're going to build this shiny new stadium in the exact same spot where the old one is, and they're going to have the same problems.
Yeah, but at least hopefully it'll create some attendance and some drive to
hopefully
actually make because I think part of it is who's going to want to make the drive
to Tropicana,
to Tropicana Field, where again, if you put a new font on the stadium sign, people would be like, "Whoa, that's an upgrade."
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, obviously, a new stadium is going to draw excitement and interest, and hopefully attendance. If the Rays continue to be good. And also while you're at it, Rays, please, can we please go back to Tampa Bay Devil Rays?
Amen.
Like, Tampa Bay Rays, just no. Tampa Bay Rays is as bad as Anaheim Ducks. Which, by the way, in unrelated news, the Anaheim Ducks, Carson, did you see the Ducks' new uniforms?
They're fantastic. Love them.
They're finally bringing back the Mighty Ducks logo. Now they just need to bring back the name.
Wild Wing is back.
Yeah, Wild Wing is back. Yes. Hallelujah, praise be. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at on the new Rays Stadium. I'm glad they're doing something. Hopefully it works. Hopefully everything actually, goes through. And Rays fans are able to keep their team. So, and last but not least, Maria W. Which players do you want to see the most in future home run derbies?
Trying to rack your brain for players that I'd like to see in home run derbies. I mean, keep bringing back some of the big power guys. Trying to think.
Yeah, is it just me, or was this year's home run derby lacking a little bit in the power department?
It was kind of a mid home run derby. Yeah. In terms of that, but
we didn't see Aaron Judge, we didn't see Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani, I understand because he's still trying to get his shoulder into primo shape, so that he can pitch again next year. So that I understand, but
yeah, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing like a you know what? Let's really go out of the box here. I wouldn't mind seeing like a Rowdy Tellez in a home run derby.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a Cal Raleigh in a home run derby.
Oh yes, please. Big dumper in the home run derby. Let's go.
You know what? Let's just make a home run derby where it's literally just Rowdy Tellez, Cal Raleigh, and Daniel Vogelbach.
Oh my god.
Nice. 3 big men hitting big bombs.
I love it. I would watch that all day. Yeah, I mean, like it's no Aaron Judge, like no Juan Soto, no Bryce Harper. I'm like, what? Where's the power? And I get it. Players are worried about injuries, and I mean, there have been players in the past who have had injury issues after taking part in the home run derby. But I'll tell you who I really wanted to see this year. I really wanted to see Tyler O'Neill.
Yep.
And I get why he didn't do it. He's dealt with some injury stuff this year, but man, I don't know how many of you have watched the Tyler O'Neill and the Red Sox, but that dude is jacked, and
He's a beast.
he is a beast, and he hits absolute bombs. I mean, let's be honest, Fenway Park is not exactly the hardest park to hit a home run in, especially if you're, swinging towards the Green Monster. With Tyler O'Neill, man, that dude can crank the ball. I mean, I'd love to see him in a future one. Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber, I think, would be fun to see in a home run derby. Ketel Marte. Cal Raleigh mentioned. But I have to be honest, and I'm being extremely biased here. The player I most want to see in a future home run derby, give me some Raffy Devers in the home run derby.
Ooh.
Give me, yeah. Let's let Raffy Two Scoops go up there and swing the bat in the home run derby and see what happens. He'll hit bombs that they just won't come down. They'll just stay up there. You want to talk about power? Raffy Devers has got some serious power.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Raffy Devers, please. And honestly, I don't know if he'll ever do it. Given his injury history or whatever, but I mean, can we get Shohei Ohtani in a home run derby at some point?
Yes.
Like, I don't know if he'll do it because of the shoulder thing, and I don't know if he would actually do it, but damn. How cool would it be to have Shohei Ohtani participate in the home run derby and, let's be honest, probably win it. And then the next day pitch and DH in the All-Star game.
Yeah, please and thank you. That'd be phenomenal.
I'm pretty sure that would be the first time that's ever happened. So, because even when Babe Ruth was playing in All-Star games, I don't think Babe Ruth ever pitched in an All-Star game.
I don't think so, no.
No, because that they didn't really do that kind of thing back then, even though he was, well, I mean, he didn't really pitch very much at all when he was with the Yankees. Most of his pitching was when he was with the Red Sox. So, but yeah, Shohei Ohtani in a home run derby, yes, please. All right, that is the mailbag, everybody. Thanks for all your messages. As always, don't forget to drop us a line at eighth-inningpod.com/mailbag or eighth-inningstretch@gmail.com, and we might just read your message on an upcoming episode. Must-watch games. What have we got? I was not prepared for this like I usually am. Let's see. What have we got going on? We
got some good ones actually. Cardinals and Braves looks good. Speaking of the rivalry week, Twins and Brewers. Although it is currently delayed due to the fact that it is storming pretty good here in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Oh, you guys! I wonder if you guys are getting the storms that we had here last night.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Because we had some serious storms here. Rays, Yankees, Tigers, Guardians. That's pretty good. Tarek Skubal on the mound for the Tigers. Giants, Dodgers. That's a little rivalry there.
Oh, Astros, Mariners.
Yeah, it's not going so well for my Mariners right now. But yes,
that's gonna be big. Yeah.
Oh, starting Tuesday, we have a Subway series. We got the Mets and the Yankees.
Love me a good Subway series. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, not this week is kind of on a personal note, I'm excited because Monday, tomorrow for us, I, after a much too long wait, finally get to see my Red Sox in person when they come here to Denver to play the Rockies. Yes, finally. And as an added bonus, on the mound for my Red Sox, the soon to be 2024 American League Cy Young winner Tanner Houck.
Tanner Houck.
I cannot even tell you guys how excited I am to see Tanner Houck pitch in person. Yeah, this week is kind of Brewers Cubs. Yeah, that might be a little more exciting if the Cubs were playing a little better.
Yeah, it's kind of not the greatest week.
No,
But,
it's really not. There's some really like.
oh,
Well, starting on so on Friday we've got Yankees Red Sox at Fenway. I mean, that's
always good.
Yeah, that's always must see TV. But yeah, not a whole lot. So, do we have a tankathon?
Oh, do we ever?
Yes.
Starting today, as a matter of fact. Granted, all of these are MLB.TV free game of the day, probably because we're coming out of the All-Star break, but something tells me that even if we weren't, this would still be an MLB.TV free game of the day, as the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim head to the only stadium I can think of that's worse than Tropicana, the Oakland Coliseum,
Oh God,
to take on the Oakland Athletics in a battle of teams that have 39 and 41 wins, respectively. So if you want to see two teams battle it out to avoid being the gutter of the AL West, and a Angels team that is going to make you cry thinking about the fact that they have a generational player on that team, go watch that series.
That is some bad baseball. Yes, the Los Angeles Angels, the California Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, California. We were talking earlier about the Rays changing their name back to the Devil Rays. Can we please just go back to California Angels? Like, that was so much better.
Or just do, eliminate the whole of Anaheim thing.
I don't
formally the team name, I think.
I don't know actually. Do they still use? I know they used it for a while. I don't no, Los Angeles Angels.
Oh, they are just the Angels now? Okay, good.
Yep.
I thought they had still used the of Anaheim.
No.
Which was incredibly stupid.
So they were a little baseball history lesson for you all. They were established in 1961 by the late great Gene Autry. They were named after the Los Angeles Angels, who played in the Pacific Coast League. They were based in LA. They actually moved to Anaheim in 1966, changed the name to the California Angels. Then they were the Anaheim. You know what? I take that back. I said go back to California Angels. Go back to Anaheim Angels. Anaheim Angels just rolls off the tongue. Plus, they had a really cool logo when they were the Anaheim Angels. They had the A with the halo. It was awesome. Yeah, and then
do still have the A with the halo. It's just a gray halo now.
Yeah, but they had the A with like the wing and the halo. It was cool. It was a cool logo. Yeah, so they were in 2005 they changed it to Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and that was until 2015 when they changed it back. So yeah, I mean,
there we go.
It should go back to California Angels or Anaheim Angels. Anaheim Angels is cool. Seriously, go look up the Anaheim Angels logo. It was awesome. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So my one last thing. I'll be honest with you guys. I've kind of waffled back and forth on this one a little bit. I originally was going to go on a rant about the Mariners, and how they uh, completely squandered a 10-game division lead. And just, hey, we've got a 10-game lead in the division. Let's go out and make a move. Nah, we're good. But then the All-Star game happened. Well, and the home run derby happened actually. And country singer Ingrid Andress sang the national anthem at the home run derby, and well, it was not pretty. It did not go well. And predictably, social media piled, on top of her. People were worst anthem performance ever, and I mean, all you got to do is scroll your favorite social media feed, and you'll see all the awful, horrible, disgusting things that people said about her. Because apparently that's the world we live in now. One, to all of you who criticized her and piled on her and called her names and all this other stuff, I would love to see you try to do better. I would love to see you try to go to a stadium with tens of thousands of people and sing the national anthem. Good freaking luck with that. Well, then it came to light. Miss Andrews came out after the fact and did a extremely and unbelievably brave thing and admitted that she's battling alcohol addiction and is going to enter rehab. So one, good for her. Because admitting you have a problem like that is the first step to doing something about it. And admitting you have a problem like that, yeah, that's one of the hardest things a human being can do, is admit that they have a problem. So good on her for doing that and admitting it, and also good on her for realizing that she had a problem, admitting she has a problem, and taking the steps to do something about it by entering rehab. But that's the thing that bothered me the most, because as vile and disgusting and awful and cruel as the things that people said about her after the anthem, before the news came out that she was struggling with addiction, suddenly this news comes out and everybody miraculously changed their tune. Oh, they were offering their thoughts and their prayers and I hope she's okay. I hope she gets the help she needs. Y'all a bunch of phony motherfuckers, because not 48 hours earlier you were piling on her and insulting her and saying she did the worst anthem ever and saying all these awful, disgusting things about her, and all of a sudden the news comes out that she's struggling with addiction and you all change your tone. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That she admitted a very private, personal thing, and now you're all pretending to care about her when just not even 2 days earlier she was awful and pathetic and terrible and all the other shitty things you said about her. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, couldn't have said it any better myself. And I mean, we unfortunately live in a culture where people pile on and people take things to the extreme next level.
Thank you, social media.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the culture we live in, and like you said, it was not pretty.
No,
it certainly I think explained a lot after she put that out there.
Yeah,
but again, like you said, a very brave thing that she did. And from I think it's fair to say I can speak on behalf of both of us that we hope that she gets the help that she needs, that she can overcome this, because folks, alcohol addiction is just as dangerous as any other form of drug. It's no joke.
No, it's not.
So hopefully she gets the help that she needs, and she's able to overcome that demon, because it is a beast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Not a whole lot from me on my one last thing. Mostly just kind of touching on, again, as actually, the ceremony will have officially started actually about 20 minutes ago. The Hall of Fame, Joe Mauer, of course, getting inducted this year. Kind of a cool moment for me, as we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, of just a player who I grew up watching and idolizing, and just trying to summarize like how cool it is for me to now get to the point where I'm seeing players that I grew up watching as a kid, going into the Hall of Fame is just kind of both a holy cow, I feel old moment, but also a super surreal, super surreal moment of wow. I mean, this guy who I grew up watching as a kid is now entering Cooperstown, is now going to be a Hall of Famer. Um, and it's super cool to finally have a player from the Twins enter the Hall that I remember watching growing up, and somebody who I'll be able to tell my future kids about watching him at Target Field and at the Metrodome, before he got into Cooperstown, is just a really cool and kind of surreal moment for me. And the fact that he's a Minnesota kid makes it all the better. So just a super cool moment that I can't wait to hop off as soon as we're done here. I'm sprinting to the TV and probably popping that on. So um but yeah, just a super surreal and cool moment for me. Um and hopefully for fellow Twins fans like me across not only Minnesota but um, across the globe.
Yeah. It's awesome to see Joe Mauer get into Cooperstown. Obviously, well deserving. Um, one of the best catchers of all time, one of the best Twins of all time, uh, one of the most like entertaining, fun players to watch in recent memory. So, yeah, no, that's a really cool moment, and obviously a huge congrats to the entire everybody in the 2024 Hall of Fame class. And if you guys ever get the opportunity to go to Cooperstown, please take it. Um, it's a bit in the middle of nowhere. It's a bit, but it's a beautiful place. Cooperstown itself, the town itself, is a beautiful place. It's in a beautiful part of New York State, in a beautiful part of the country, and obviously the Hall of Fame itself is, it's a can't miss for baseball fans. Yeah, it's 100% worth the trip. But yeah, anyways, that's all we got for you guys. Remember, catch us live every Sunday or thereabouts, at eighth-inning-pod.com/live stream and on demand wherever you get your podcasts anytime at linktree/eighth-inning-stretch. Don't forget to give us a follow at 8th Inning Pod on Twitter. And for more, including our newsletter/blog, Two Strike Count, and our original documentary series, The Book of Baseball, head to 8th-inning-pod.com and help us continue making the best indie baseball content this side of home plate by supporting the show using the QR code on your screen or at 8th-inning-pod.com/donate. If you are watching or listening to this on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. One last quick note about the Book of Baseball. Good news, everyone. The Book of Baseball is now also available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Yay! And still at 8th-inning-pod.com/book of baseball. And yes, we do have a new episode in the works. It's called Don't Blame Bartman. It's all about the Steve Bartman incident in Game 6 of the 2003 NLCS. I know, Cubs fans, I know that might be a little triggering for you guys. But
You guys won a World Series now. You're fine.
yeah, you're good. You won in 2016. Your team gave Steve Bartman a World Series ring, which is the least they could do after everything he endured. But yeah, it's going to be good. So keep an eye out for that. That's coming soon. But other than that, everybody have an awesome rest of your day, whatever day this is. Thanks as always, for tuning in and supporting the show. You guys are the best. Another shout out to producer Tasha for being the best producer in the history of producing things. And remember to take care of yourselves. Take care of your physical health. Take care of your mental health. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And remember to take care of each other.